Good morning, Facebook.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Social Live. We are so excited to be hosting this show today, and for those of you who are not in New York, it's kind of a rainy day, so this is the highlight of my day.
This is the sunshine I need in my week.
Let's make this such a good show that we bring the sun out.
Oh, let's do it. We have a lot to talk about today, and we have a special guest. Lisa Haim, a registered dietitian, is on the show a little later today. But first, we have some news about Twitter to share.
Yes, so you were telling me what was going on, and I saw a bunch of articles come out over the last week about our friend who
we
have his sign, but he's not here with us today. But let's talk about him, Kanye West.
He is back on Twitter. He follows one person. Who do you think it is? Kim Kardashian. That is true love right there, honestly.
I love that. I really
love that
think that's
too.
Sweet.
I think it's sweet
so
too.
romantic
and I want
in this day.
Right? It's modern love, modern romance. Anyway, Kanye has taken to Twitter to share the beginnings of his book that I am truly excited about. Some of his tweets are actually incredibly insightful. And he tweeted yesterday that you can say anything as long as you put the right emoji next to it. And that really spoke to me.
I love this. Although Kanye, I'm not sure if this is correct. Like you can say some really mean things, and then I don't think an emoji is gonna help.
I don't know if you do the emoji after being like, I hate you.
I don't think that works. I don't think there's an emoji that can make you feel better about saying I hate you. If I said I hate you, smiley face, how would you take that?
Oh, court.
No, you would be upset.
I probably would be upset. Anxiety attack.
I would never do that. So Kanye, I like where you're going with this, and I think it's true probably 90% of the time, but there are some really terrible things you could say to someone, and an emoji cannot help. That's my take on it.
He also tweeted last week that trend is always late. And I screenshotted it, and I now have it as the background on my phone so that when I'm shopping and I'm like, you know what, I do need a suit. Like, trend is always late. I need it, you know? It's like helping me get my personal style back.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's just get to it because we want to bring our special guest on ASAP. So we'll talk about Instagram. So Instagram news this past week is that now you can download all of your data using the new export tool. So right now you can only do this on a computer. You can't do it on your phone. You can't do it on your iPhone or your Android or your tablet. Just on a computer right now, but I'm sure that's coming. And obviously this is a result of all of the news that has come out regarding, privacy issues and Facebook and all of the major tech platforms. So now, before you might want to delete your account, you can download all of your data so you can remember everything that you had put on Instagram. And what do you think about this, Jules?
I think this is actually really cool. It does, so basically you just have to email Instagram and say, like, I want my data, and you'll get it within 48 hours. I think this is cool if, like, another platform were to launch competing with Instagram. You can bring all of your data onto the new platform. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily do it, but I don't know if I need all my data right now.
I'm probably not gonna do it, and I know that Facebook has allowed you to do this for a really long time.
Yeah.
So this is not necessarily a new capability to the social media world, but still important and still good to know that you can do this on Instagram.
Exactly.
And then let's talk about Facebook, Instagram's older brother, Facebook. So Facebook is now launching something called Facebook Premieres. And I actually really, really love this update.
Me too.
Because now you can pre-record videos like what we do here, and then you can upload them and then they can play live. So this is a really cool update, and really it's a result of Facebook wanting to bring original programming and TV to the networks. And I know that they purchased some shows that are coming to Facebook very, very soon. I think, what was it, Elizabeth Olsen is in one of them.
It's like about the Avengers or something, I don't know, another superhero.
And I've been saying this for a very long time now. I don't watch TV, and even when I am watching TV, I'm on my phone watching Facebook. So very, very smart move for people like me who aren't just not watching TV anymore.
I think this update is actually is so cool because it basically brings people together to, like, you could use this for like a movie premiere or a movie trailer, a music video. I think it'll be really cool to see what, now that they've partnered with so many like music labels, like which artists will do this to like release a new music video or an album or something like that. What production companies will use this for trailers. It's cool because it's also going to give you the same features that you would on Facebook Live, so people can like chat and comment about what's going on.
You can see what people are thinking as they're watching the show. So I'm very, very excited for where this is going.
We need a trailer now.
I think
a dramatic,
so. A very dramatic
trailer.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's make that happen the next 30 days.
Okay, done. Add it to my to-dos. Next, we have an update from Snapchat, and I know we talk a lot about Snapchat, and we haven't always been their #1 fans for some of the updates that they've come out with recently, but this one blows my mind. We talked about it in our weekly Team Monday morning meeting, and Snapchat is partnering with Bear Burger. I've never been there, have you?
I've been to Bear Burger.
Bear
Burger is very good.
I'm excited to go now. But they're partnering with Bear Burger for that. They're doing an update so that you can see the menu through an AR lens. So if you get a Snap code, they're giving out 5,000 coupons to roll it out first. And you basically scan the Snap code if you're in the restaurant, and then you can preview the menu on your phone. So you can like see what the burgers are going to look like before you order it.
See what the burger looks like right in front of you, because you may not want to order what you intended to order if you knew what it would look like.
Exactly.
Right in front of you.
Maybe there's an ingredient you don't know what it is. There's a cheese you can't pronounce. Go on there, see what it looks like, and then make your decision.
I think that this is very, very cool. I don't know if this is going to take off. I really don't. I think it's a lot of steps to the ordering, especially if you are working with a very, very large menu. You could be there for days.
Well, hopefully you're not going to a restaurant with a large menu, because you know what they say.
What do they say?
It's a large menu. It's like they're not great at one thing. They're just throwing food at you, like Cheesecake Factory. No offense. Sorry, fans.
Hey, I love the Cheesecake Factory.
I do too. And so does Drake.
Let's say the Cheesecake Factory did this. You could be there for years.
Days. Your dinner with one friend just became a night of just reading the menu. No, okay, I think this is cool because it could, if this rolls out and people are obsessed with it, this could make a lot more restaurant chains or just standalone restaurants more eco-friendly because they won't have to print so many menus. But the one thing I'm curious about and where I see this could be an issue. Say you view your burger on the menu and it looks beautiful, and then you get it and it's sloppy.
That's true. That's false advertising.
Exactly. They're going to get in trouble. And you're going to have some angry customers. I would say something.
You would do a side-by-side. You could do a side-by-side, actually.
Oh, that's going to be
then take screenshots.
Campaign. Oh, my God. I can't
wait. All right. So those are our predictions about where this is going to go. But very, very cool Snapchats. I like what's happening here.
They don't stop innovating.
Exactly. Love it, love it. All right, without further ado, let's bring on our very, very special guest, Lisa from The Well Necessities.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Your energy is so wonderful this morning.
Well, maybe the sun will come out. That's the hope.
By the end of
That's the hope. But yes, so you are bringing some special gifts, right, for our audience or our guests.
Yeah, I'm going to give a coupon code for one of the things that I mentioned, hopefully, that we get to.
So, like we mentioned, you're a registered dietitian, but can you share a little bit about what inspired you to get into the fitness and nutrition industry?
Yeah, I kind of it sort of found me. I mean, when it comes to like wellness as a whole, it's so many different pieces of the puzzle, and a lot of nutritionists are going to say that it's what you eat, of course, and while that is like a big component to how you feel, it's really a whole. It's, are you moving your body? Are you sleeping? How are your relationships? What does your inner dialogue kind of sound like? And nutrition and fitness, or exercise sort of, really pulled that all together for me, and that's where I found sort of true happiness and how to manage stress and all the things that like sort of make us feel out of control. So after sort of trying to push it to the side, to become a registered dietitian is a lot of science. I kind of just leaned into it and said, all right, I'm going to do this.
Awesome.
And 6 years later, I became a registered dietitian.
That's amazing. So how did you merge two businesses into one via social media?
Yeah, so when I had my Instagram sort of as a personal page maybe 6 years ago or so, and people weren't really using Instagram for business at the time. And I started to sort of develop a following because I was posting recipes and I was very into fitness then, and I was doing my workouts, and I don't know, I guess it was some sort of motivation or inspiration for people. And so that sort of started to grow into like where I didn't know it wasn't just my friends and family anymore. And then a couple of years later, I actually became a registered dietitian and I had a business to grow. So I had Instagram, which was like this sort of fun place for me. And then I had my nutrition business where I had to really gain clients. And I thought originally that the two would sort of go together perfectly, right? It was a long time ago. So it was 3 years ago when I started, and I think I had 2,000 followers, but at the time, like, that sort of seemed big.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, those are going to convert to, clients, and they didn't. So I sort of shifted my focus into growing my nutrition practice. That's what I wanted to do. And for about 1.5 years, I really focused on that, and Instagram was on the side, until I realized that the earnings and opportunities were a lot bigger from social media than just with clients. So I had to bring the two together in a way that was authentic to me. And as soon as I did that, which wasn't as intentional as I'm sort of chalking it up to be right now, things just like synergistically fell into place. My voice became more clear, which is a really hard thing to develop. Yeah. And I had, a purpose and a why, and everything just became a lot more streamlined from there.
Totally. So you kind of touched on this, but which platforms have been the most successful for you to grow your business, engage your audience, or how do you use each platform that you're on?
I'd say Instagram is number one.
Yeah.
I am now branching into YouTube, which I'm super excited about. I think that, Instagram has a lot of ability to reach a lot of people, but it's such a crowded platform.
Sure.
And the attention span is, okay, they're liking my photo and they're moving on, or they're commenting and they're moving on. And I want to get a more important message out there. And if I can have somebody's attention for 2 minutes on Instagram, and maybe, it's not going to be 1,000 likes or 1,500 likes or whatever, or 1,000 comments, but they're writing back a real question for me, that's so much more valuable than sort of what Instagram has given me. But with that being said, Instagram has been my, sort of how I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question that you probably get all the time on Instagram, but I'm sure our social live viewers would love to know. So in a place like New York City, or really any busy city, when people are feeling busy all the time, it can be really challenging to maintain a healthy lifestyle. What tips do you have for very busy people like ourselves?
Yeah, well, I think that the typical New Yorker or even American views health and wellness as sort of like all or nothing. So it's black and white, right? I'm either like really on, I'm going to the gym every day, I'm eating really healthy and clean, I'm not having alcohol, whatever it is, or I'm a complete disaster. And sounds accurate. Sounds right? But in reality, even just, nutrition, wellness as a whole, there are tiny things that you could be doing every single day that aren't as huge, aren't so as black and white as being on and off. So whether that's drinking enough water every day, making sure that you get a green in every day, getting X amount of steps per day, or even just having like a decent sleep ritual is super key to just sort of having that balance, right? So it doesn't have to be like Fridays I go nuts and Mondays I'm back on track. And as soon as we shift that mentality, it becomes a lot easier. And we actually get to sort of like listen to our bodies, what our bodies want, and our bodies don't want soda and French fries, oftentimes. Maybe in the very beginning they do, but that moves quickly.
Body always does.
Your body
I always
does.
want pizza. But you have a mantra, eat right and be mindful. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah, so eat real, be mindful is basically my simplified version of everything that I believe in. So real food has tremendous healing power, right? And like I sort of said, like you're not actually craving French fries and soda. Like that's because we've eaten chemical produced food. If we get back to real food, we're so much more satisfied, right? Have you ever eaten like an orange before? I know this sounds pretty boring, right? An orange requires like your hands-on attention. You actually you can't be on your phone while eating an orange. And then you open it and it's really vibrant and it smells really good. So you're igniting all the senses, right? And then it's naturally portion controlled in the sense that it's segmented. And you can see sort of where half is, where 3/4 are left, as opposed to sticking your hand in a bag of Doritos where there's nothing left. And so so that's the mindful sort of component where it comes together. But the two of them together, like you don't have to worry about being good or being bad or restrictions. You're just sort of living, and it becomes a lot easier.
I've never thought about it that way. Like that kind of blows
I love that. I love that. Okay, so there are so many great boutique studios here in New York City. What are some of your favorites?
So call me really old school, but I'm like still having a hard time adjusting to the fact that we have to pay $40 to go to a fitness class.
I know.
Although I do love Rumble.
I've
went
heard
only
last
when I
night.
went once.
I went last night
to go
and I
back.
was like, but I went anyway.
How much do they charge?
34 a class, and
Yeah.
then plus glove rentals, which is 2.
So I am.
Rumble, you gotta hook her up.
I'm actually a gym girl, so I belong to a gym, and that sort of makes it easier for me to just like get in when I can. This is your business, right?
Yes.
So your schedule isn't as, okay, well, I get out at 5 o'clock and I can go to a class at this time. So when you have that, I need a lot of flexibility, which some of those classes don't offer.
Yeah.
Moto Yoga is my favorite yoga spot in New York City. That totally is where I learned to love yoga. I hated it before. So if you've never been.
Where is it?
West Village in Williamsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's hot, but it's not Bikram, so it's like an easier style, and especially if you're just getting into yoga, it's a great way to improve your flexibility and sort of like ease into the practice. And if I'm feeling ambitious, SLT, because it never gets easier.
I really want to try that, but
you
I'm
never
nervous.
I haven't done it yet.
I feel like every blogger I follow loves SLT, and
Yeah, last July I did like a challenge with them, and I tried to go like 3 times a week for 4 weeks, and it never got easier. So I did.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Well, speaking of influencers,
Yeah.
it seems like every time I log on to Instagram or social media in general, there's a new fitness craze or fitness fad. How do you stand out in the crowded influencer world?
So my audience, I think, really knows me really well, and what I really try to do is not get too stuck up on trends.
Yeah.
Trends come and go, and they're really overwhelm people. It's like, okay, well, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not healthy, right? And like we sort of talked about, it's not as black and white as that. When it comes to certain trends, there are some awesome ones that are time-tested and science-backed, and those are the ones that really excite me, and I'm eager to talk about, because there's nothing better than a time-tested, science-proven sort of thing that was like dorky or not cool before, making its way into the limelight and being sort of known and used. So when we were talking about the discount code, there's a company called Four Sigmatic that has created functional mushrooms in a way that like you would have never touched mushrooms before, right?
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have eaten them in this capacity. So they basically have created a way to drink your mushrooms. So they come in hot cocoa and coffee, or you could just do it like as an elixir. I know they come in little like easy travel packets, and they've just like totally revolutionized the game.
Does it taste like mushroom?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Oh, God.
And they
How do I feel
have,
about this?
and different mushrooms have different like crazy healing benefits for immunity, anti-inflammatory, and it's this really exciting topic. I just filmed a YouTube on it yesterday, and it just really excites me. So,
check that out.
yeah, so it's Four Sigmatic, and the code is TWN15 for the Well Necessities, and it's 15% off on any of their products.
And we'll be putting that in the caption after we're done being live.
And how would you say you are remaining authentic to what you believe? So as you know, on Instagram, it tends to be like the best versions of everyone's life. So how do you stay authentic?
Yeah, and my audience really knows this from me. You ask me like what sort of direct messages do they get, and they thank me for being real. And as sort of scary that is to be so closely fused to my brand like that, like this is your business, right? It's like Social Flight, and then there's you.
Yes.
Like that doesn't exist with me. It's like the Well Necessities, and then that is me.
Yeah.
And so putting it out there is sort of difficult, but how I do it is I don't really, unless I'm working with a brand, I don't plan my content too much. I maybe will prepare a photo or a recipe I want to share, but other than that, like the caption is really coming from that moment.
Yeah.
And so my audience feels that. Like if I ever write something that's emotional and then I post it like 2 days later, it's like, nope, not interested. But if it like comes out real, it is real, so they know that it's real.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like authenticity and working with brands, it's super important for me to only work with brands that I'm excited to then put on my Instagram. And it's a weird thing being an influencer because people will just want to give you money. And it's like, wait, okay, do I want to work with you? And in 2018, my main focus has really been, well, if I'm not going to be super excited to post this and share it with my audience, like it's not worth it.
Yeah, your feed does feel super, super authentic to who you are. I love that you'll post a picture of like a perfect smoothie bowl and then like the unedited version. I think that's so cool because I make food and it doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, and that's the the hard part of Instagram. And as sometimes I complain that I can't get my photos to look like how these other influencers get their photos to look like.
They're gorgeous.
But then I'll be reminded by my audience, like, hey, we don't come to your page for that. So, you don't have to do that as much. And it's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you do have really great captions, too. They're always really... But what do you think is the most common misconception about health and wellness on social media? Kind of piggybacking off that.
I think twofold. Yeah, what we sort of talked about is that, like, if you're not taking all the adaptogenic herbs or having the prettiest smoothie or going to yoga or fitness every day, that, you're not being well. So I think that's first and foremost, is that people get really overwhelmed. And I think what has come to my attention lately from some of my audience have relayed to me that they're really frustrated that, they can't afford what influencers are promoting.
Yeah.
And they're right. I mean, they're getting a lot of free product. They're living a really good life. But with that being said, the misconception to health and wellness is that it is affordable. It literally all starts in your mind. It starts with you in your home finding peace in your body. So all that stuff is so extra, and it's all really comes from within. So it's not expensive or impossible at a basic level.
I love that. And I think that people who follow other people on Instagram need to remind themselves of that everything that you just said. It's not always real what you see, and it's typically a lot of the most edited pictures, but...
Impressively edited. I mean...
Yeah, is everybody a master at Photoshop?
Right.
But me?
It's like perfectly eating a baguette in Paris. Like, I just don't understand. Everybody has a great Instagram boyfriend is what I learned.
Yeah, and like where are they? With all their photo skills?
I know. Well, mine's a doctor and he's useless in the photo field. Sorry, Evan.
All right, last question. What advice would you share with other influencers who are early in their career?
So the one thing that I think is that I'm seeing a lot now is people calling themselves content creators. When I started and when a lot of like my friends that I've met on there started, like that word didn't exist. It was just like us sharing our lives. And I think it's really important if you are going to enter this field as an influencer, like again, a new word, like what is your why? Why are you doing this? Because if it's for money, you're not going to make any money, especially in the beginning. And you're not going to be happy because you're doing it for money and you're not even getting money or making an impact. If you have a why, you have a very high chance of reaching at least one person. And I have what I call like a smile file, and like on days when I think that like I'm not reaching anybody, I have screenshots of the people that have actually heard my message and it's working for them and they've totally changed their relationship to food. So I may not have 200,000 followers like I may want or some days want, but if I've impacted 10 people, I mean one person, right? But if I've impacted 10 people and really changed their lives, like I muster up the ability to sort of keep going. And it's a really defeating platform, especially when a lot of it's out of our control and we can't control who's seeing our stuff, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with it. But yeah, have a reason, have a purpose for why you're doing it. Don't just be an influencer because there's a zillion more like you that are going to have a zillion that be so much better at, like we said, the Photoshop, the video editing, all the skills that are just impossible to master.
I love that. And I love your purpose. And everyone watching today, definitely go on Instagram and follow @WellNecessities and check her out. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And that concludes today's show. Stephanie will be back next week. And yes.
Have a great rest of your week.
Have a great rest of the week. Yep. I hope the sun comes out. I think I see it peeking out over there.